So in the last video we discussed about the endosperm and the embryo development. So now we are going to discuss about the seed. So when we take the seeds which are in angiosperm, so seed is the final product of sexual reproduction. When we take the final product of sexual reproduction is the seed. So which the seed is also commonly described as fertilized ovule. So here the seed consists of cotyledons, seed coats and an embryo axis, whereas it is present inside the fruits. We know the seeds are formed inside the fruits, that is the final product of sexual reproductions are formed inside the fruits, and this seed consists of cotyledons, seed coats and an embryo axis. So here the cotyledons, so when we take the cotyledons, it may be of the embryo, that is it is of simple structures. The cotyledons may be of very simple structures, whereas their characteristics will be thick, or their appearance would be thick and swollen because of the presence of, or due to the presence of, or due to the storage of food reserves. So this food reserves, as in legumes, this takes place, that is due to the storage of food reserves. The mature seeds, so when we discuss about mature seeds, they may be non-albuminous or albuminous. That is, if it is considered as non-albuminous, it is nothing but there will be no residual endosperm. So the residual endosperm will not be present there due to the complete utilization of the endosperm during the embryo development. But whereas albuminous, it retains a part of endosperm. So the endosperm part retains in the albuminous. So when we take in certain seeds like black pepper and peat, here the remnants of nucellus are also present, or also persistent. So also present or also persistent. So this persistent nucellus, we call it as perisperm. So this persistent nucellus is called as perisperm. So here we will revise. The final product is seed, and it consists of cotyledon, seed coat and an embryo axis. It is formed inside the fruit. So the cotyledons of the embryo are simple structures, and they are generally thick or swollen. This characteristics of thick or swollen are shown only because they store food resources. So the mature seeds may be non-albuminous or albuminous, that is due to the presence of residual endosperm, it is divided. In some seeds, remnants of nucellus are also present. When this persistent nucellus are present, we call them as perisperm. So now when we take the integuments of ovule, so the integuments of ovule itself hardened in order to produce, or in order to form a tough protective seed coat. So seed coat is the one which protects the seed, and it is very hard and tough. So the integuments of ovule hardens to protect or hard and tough to protect the seed coat. So at the same time, the seeds also have a micropyle. In the seed coat, the micropyle is present, which is a small pore which facilitates the entry of oxygen and water into the seed during the process of germination. So during the process of germination, the oxygen and water enters into the seed through the micropyle, which is present at the seed coat in the form of a small pore. So when the seed matures, or during the time of seed maturation, here the water content in the seed and reduces, so that the seed becomes very dry. That is, it is about 10 to 15% moisture by mass. So it reduces about 10 to 15% moisture by mass. At the same time, the metabolic activity also slows down. So the metabolic activity of the embryo slows down when the seed matures. So here two conditions takes place. That is, whether the embryo enters the state of inactivity or if it is in the favorable conditions, or if the favorable conditions are available, then they take out a particular process. So if they enter the state of inactivity, then we call it as dormancy. So when the favorable conditions are available, then they begin to germinate. So the favorable conditions like the moisture, oxygen and temperature are the seed's favorable conditions. So if they are favorable to the seed, then the embryo undergoes germination. So they germinate. So here we learned about the integuments of ovule harden and the micropyle, which is a small pore which facilitates the entry of water and oxygen into the seed, and when the seed matures the water reduces, so the seed becomes dry and the metabolic activity at the same time slows down. So here the embryo enters either the state of inactivity or the favorable conditions when available, either into dormancy or they germinate. So the favorable conditions for the embryo to germinate is proper moisture, adequate oxygen and suitable temperature. So we have a transformation. So here the transformation is nothing but the transformation of ovules and ovary. So here the ovules and ovary develops itself into seeds and fruits respectively. So when the ovules develop into seeds and the ovary develops into the fruit, which these two processes or these two transformations take simultaneously. So here the wall of the ovary, that is which is converted into fruit, the wall of the ovary modifies itself as the wall of the fruit, which we call it as pericarp. So the wall of the ovary modifies to the wall of the fruit, which we call pericarp. So the fruits may be fleshy or dry. So if for fleshy, the examples are guava, mango, orange. So we know these fruits and we have seen it, so we know the fleshy type. And if we take dry, then it is, the examples are groundnut and mustard. So when we take the fruits actually they have a major mechanism, or there is many of the fruits, maximum of the fruits evolve some mechanisms for their own mechanism for the dispersal of seeds. So they evolve mechanisms for the dispersal of seeds. So in most of the plants, so this two things takes part simultaneously. As we learned, the ovules transform into seeds, whereas the ovary transform into fruit. Here it takes simultaneously, where the same time happens here also. The fruit develops from the ovary and the floral parts degenerate and fall off. So these two happen simultaneously. When the fruits develop from the ovary, the floral parts also degenerate and fall off. That is, the old floral parts degenerate and fall off. So, but in certain conditions, if the fruit formation takes place with the help of, that is along with thalamus, then we call it as false fruits. But when the fruit is formed only from the ovary, then we call it as true fruits. So, if the fruit formation involves thalamus, then we call, or if the thalamus also contributes to the fruit formation, we call it as false fruits. If the fruit formation takes place only from the ovary, then we call it as true fruits. So when we see in most of the species, the fruits are considered as the results of fertilization. But in certain species, or in a very few number of species, the fruits develop, but they develop without fertilization. So here there are fruits which do not undergo fertilization, which do not form by the process of fertilization, but rather by some other processes, which we call them as parthenocarpic fruits. So the fruits which are formed without fertilization or which develop without fertilization, we call them as parthenocarpic fruits, for example banana. So here the parthenocarpy actually is induced through the application of growth hormones. So this parthenocarpic fruits are induced or developed by the application of growth hormones, so that such fruits are seedless. So no seeds will be there in parthenocarpic fruits. So if we take banana, which is very familiar to everyone or to us, there will be no seeds inside the banana. So here the parthenocarpic fruits are seedless. So now seeds are always been advantageous to angiosperms. So it also offers several advantages to angiosperms. Here it is independent for water when it is pollination, when it is undergoing pollination or fertilization, but in seed formation it is dependent. So here the adaptive strategies also occurs, that is for the dispersal to new habitats takes place here, and to colonize the seeds in other areas. So these are the adaptive strategies of the seeds, that is for dispersal to new habitats and to colonize in other areas. So we know that the seed reserves good or sufficient food resources. So that the young seedlings are nourished inside itself until they are capable of undergo the process of photosynthesis on their own self. So until then the young seedlings are nourished. So we know that a hard seed coat is there to protect the young embryo. So young embryo may be tender, so that in order to protect the young embryo, the hard seed coat is present. So as these are the products of sexual reproduction, new genetic combinations which leads to variation are generated here. So being the products of sexual reproduction, it leads to the variation, that is new genetic combinations are generated out. We also know that seeds are the basis of our agriculture. So the dehydration and dormancy of the mature seeds are crucial for the storage of seeds. So we need the dehydration or dormancy of the mature seed. If we need to store a seed, its dehydration and dormancy are very, very important or very, very crucial for us. So this storage of seeds, if we store it for a long time, then it can be used as a food throughout the year, or it can be used to raise crops in the next season also. So this dormancy or this dehydration are very important for the storage of seeds. So now for the storage, there is a seed viability. So the seed viability is also very necessary if we need to store the seeds for a long time. So for very few species of plants only, this seeds lose its viability within a month. Whereas for large number of species, it remains for more than hundreds of years. So this viability shows us that for that few species which are mentioned here, we can store only the seeds up to a month. But here there are also species which can remain, or the most number of species remain hundreds of years. That is, the viability of the seed remains hundreds of years. For example, here the record or the oldest is the but yet it is viable. So that is lupine, which we call it as Lupinus articus. It is excavated from the place called Arctic tundra. So here this seed has germinated and flowered, but we have estimated the record. After an estimated record of 10,000 years of dormancy, it has been the seed germinated and it has flowered. But the recent record is the 20 years old viable seed, that is of date palm. That is we call it as Phoenix dactylifera So Phoenix dactylifera, which is discovered by during an archaeological excavation at the King Herod's palace, which is near the Dead Sea. So this is for seed. Thank you.